up, y'all? Life is great. Life is great, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This car video gonna be more about Rom today, man. Just sharing some things, right? And it's just life is great. Now I was thinking about that. I had a good workout. I'm starting to do military presses, overhead presses and stuff for the first time in life. Now I'm starting small, so I ain't going crazy with it. And that's one thing for those who want to start lifting. Don't be trying to do too much, right? Like thinking you impressing somebody, because you could hurt something. Always start from zero. Always, if you got to just start with the bar with something, that's all you need until you get that form. Definitely get the form right, because I was talking with a prolific lifter in here, and we were talking about how sometimes people be doing like curls or something, and they be swinging using their momentum, really not supposed to. Or like when you're doing deadlifts or something, sometimes people go boom boom boom. Nah, that's still momentum. Like the proper way to do a deadlift is you get down, bend your knees some, pick it up, and then lift it, then put it back, come to a complete stop, and then do it again. Never use momentum. Even if you catch yourself using momentum, because that's one of the things. That's the reason the mirrors are really there. Because that's one thing. Whenever I do something, I'm always like looking in the mirror, making sure my form is right and tight. I hate this weather, but yeah, it was. Life is just great, though. I was talking with a young lady friend a couple of days ago, right? And I was complaining because I had lost a favorite pair of workout underwear. I only use them like just to work out in, because and it's somewhere they probably clinging to some article of clothing, because I don't got a lot of clothing. Y'all just don't know. You just check out. Most I show my clothing is on Instagram or something. And even then, that's a lot of coats and stuff. But, I got a lot of stuff. I got enough shoes. I could probably go a month without changing. Like, just wear one pair of shoes every day for a month and still don't have to change them. Yeah, Rom know a little bit more about that style game than I talk about. But I leave the style stuff to other folks. But, yeah. I was talking about that. Is she's a sweetie, but she's a blunt sweetie. She was like, yeah, if that's all you have to worry about. I was like, yeah, she was digging in good naturedly, and I was like, yeah, you're right. That was all I had to worry about. Nah, just everything. I mean, like, I know on this channel we mostly talk about ladies, and even in this section of YouTube there's a lot of complaints about women and stuff, but that's not an issue. That's not an issue with me. That's why I don't be going in on women on this channel, because I don't have that same experiences of the dude. So that's not an issue. And then when you talk about money, shoot, I put a whole lot down on this car, like a whole lot. And really, if I really wanted to, I could have paid cash for it. To be honest with you, I could have paid cash, but that would have dipped more into my savings than I want. And remember, I got a business channel, and I did a podcast on my business channel. Well, dude, you actually had to write away. Yeah. Anyway, I did a podcast on my business channel. I said always keep an emergency fund. So yeah, I could have paid cash for it, but then it would have took me maybe a couple months to build the fund back up. So I was just like, I'll just pay. And like I said before, I can pay this off in a year, and probably will, maybe even pay it off by summer. But so that's good. I'm like, money good, ladies are good. Got a powerful circle of men around me, like powerful. Like these dudes ain't the type to be just talking some stuff. They got tangible stuff they doing in the real world. Kicking ass. That's one thing. This is a like mastermind type of group. Because that's one thing. If you a dude and you trying to build up something, you always need good allies. Good allies, a good social circle. Because I think it was Robert Kiyosaki who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. I think he said it. Because I never really read that book, ironically. But he said, your whatever you make is the average of your 5 closest friends or something like that. Like I said, I never read it, but I've heard that, and at least one person attributed it to him. It might have been somebody else. So, but people I'm around, shoot, they either making a lot of money or they working to make a lot of money, and I'm like, shoot, I'm right there, because last year was very lucrative. I ain't make $1 million. But I'm definitely a 6-figure brother. Definitely a 6-figure brother. And even this year, because I remember early in January, I was talking about how good things were going. January is usually a slow month for me, but last January, I made more money than I ever did in any January, because the way I track stuff is month by month. And I'm always trying to have more than the year before. I mean, that's something I learned working in retail. And I was like, wow. Like, I'm on a pace to make way more than I did last year. So I'm just like, man, okay, I got the money thing. And, only thing is I could get a bigger, place to live or even buy a house, but I don't know how much I want to put roots in. I can still get a bigger place, but kind of like my spot. Nice, modest spot. And after a while, I don't need much, Except when my sons come over, that's good. That's good. And that's another thing too. A lot of dudes be complaining about their exes and stuff. I gotta shout out my co-parent. She spent her money. She took me out for my birthday. She took me out. Spent her money. She even drove, because that's my car. That was like the day before I got this car. So she even drove. So, there were no car issues. She real cool. Real good mom and everything. A good friend and everything. Very, extremely supportive. Because a lot of times people go through a divorce and there's all this evil and stuff. But sometimes the people just, their mindsets ain't right for a marriage, but they can be cool otherwise. And, that's the thing. And that's another reason why, life is great. I ain't even really upset at anybody. And even my detractors, people will say, well, yeah, they saying this and that about you. They putting money in my pocket. Seriously. That's why I don't really get upset or really say much. I might throw out some digs here and there, but, I'm just doing that to fuck with their heads. Nah, but seriously, because let me explain that part, right? Worst thing you can do is mention someone's name. That's the worst thing you can do. Because you got 3 types of people going to hear it. There's going to be some people, like if somebody went in on Rom or something, right? Or said something negative, you're going to get some people who don't like Rom anyway. And that's cool, because I don't care. You could be a saint out here. Somebody ain't going to like it. And that's normal. Like I said, you got a real problem, get in my face. I ain't worried about that either. Yeah. I don't show y'all when I spar with myself. So I ain't worried about that. So you got the people who don't. A second group who might hear the stuff, but they support you anyway, and they just shake their heads. They might even clap back at the person or people or whoever. Then you get a third group who had never heard your name, and they like, who's wrong? And this story, I've told this several times. I was in this social circle, and this new young lady got into the social circle, and everybody, even the guys, were telling her, don't mess with this one particular guy in the social circle, right? So that just made her curious. She went and handed it to him. So, you put somebody's name out there, good or bad, it actually helps them. That's why I be laughing about that shit. I'm just like, hey, keep going. Keep going. So, it's even the negative shit's good. I'm like, damn. And it is. It's just it's good, because that's ultimately going through life. You just want to live it well. I don't worry about a lot of shit. And even when shit come up, because I don't care what type of life you live, something going to come up. In fact, I did something on my Deep Thought channel about like a bunch of problems sitting at the same time. Because I said like, okay, the car went bad all of a sudden. And then there was some other stuff, some personal stuff I ain't get into. All that shit's under control now, because even then, if you're going through life positively, you can figure out anything. Anything man-made or something can be solved. All you have to do is sit down and think about it. You know? All you have to do is be calm and think about it and solve a problem. Like, I've been talking a lot about masculinity, and people want me to do like some more formal stuff on developing masculinity. Well, one of the things with masculinity, and I talked about this during the self-improvement summit about the house of the man. One thing, a natural man really has the ability to solve a problem because it's our nature to be logical and rational, which means we can look at something without, wait, why is this? Oh, okay. Yeah, we can look at something without, oh, shout out to my young homie, always be saying, adjust that camera. Man. And that's, I'm gonna hit that too in a second. But, you know, every man wants to be able to think about something without emotion. Like, take your emotion, like take your feelings out of it, right? So, you know, yeah, I had a bunch of stuff hit, but I just sat back and said, okay, boom. Because actually what I did, like, okay, like with the car. And I said, okay, yeah, I can go get another one right now, but I don't want to spend it, so I need to get a loan. I just went to one of my banks. Notice I said one of my banks. I said, it was actually the bank that I used to pay off my last car. So I went there. I said, yeah, you know, y'all cool and stuff. Boom. You know, I want to get another one. They did everything real quick. So when I went to the car dealership, I had a letter. They ain't even had to look up anything or anything. I was like, oh yeah, they paying for it. Boom. Boom. So, you know, just jumped into it. As far as the personal stuff, I was just like, yeah. I took care of it. And, you know, had to show some leadership. That's another aspect of a man. A true man got to be a leader. You know, that's why I don't get into that alpha beta stuff, because ultimately, you know, I'll use it for reference, but if a man has a family or people he's responsible for one way or the other, he's automatically a leader. He has to be a leader. If he's not, that's when they lose control. You know? That's when they lose control and stuff. So, you know, the stuff that was, you know, required leadership, or me exercising leadership, took care of that too, you know? Like I said, and it was really some I'll just say some family members going through some stuff, and I'll say, okay, this is how you solve this. This is what you need to do. Boom. You know? That's how you're supposed to do it. That's how you're supposed to do it and stuff. So, you know, if a man really like works on, you know, just developing himself holistically and everything, being rational, you know, being that type can go out and get that money, being that type who can knock that woman out in the bedroom, and being that type who can physically, if necessary, defend what's his. Shit, and then think about it all. Like I did, like it's called the house of the man. Shit, life is great, and I'm just like, damn. Like, my biggest problem is some underwear. That's because those workout underwear, they had a nice pouch, and I got a little bit more than people realize. Well, some women know. And so I was like, oh, damn, I need some more. If I don't find it, because you know how stuff disappears and shit. Sometimes they say it was eaten by the washing machine. I don't know. Shit, washing machine. Nah, but it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, you know, just life is great. Got friends all over the place. I even got several friends who just in this store. I think every place I go around, I know people, man. It's scary. And what I was saying earlier, because I had made that joke about adjusting the camera, there's a lot of people, they just cool with Rom. You know, it feels good. Like, you got real people who give a shit about you. They listening, and they not only just listening, but they positive folks, right? Positive folks. Wait, this thing is off a little bit. I don't fuck with it. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, life is just great. It's think about it. Biggest issue is some underwear, which honestly I could just buy more. I mean, I got plenty of, but these are like best for working out, in my opinion. Got that nice pouch that holds everything in place. So, anyway, y'all. Y'all have a great day and everything. Y'all have a great weekend. Y'all have a great weekend. Yeah, I got some stuff coming out, but one thing on my podcast, I always record them early in the week, so I don't. It's extremely rare I do something on a Saturday and Sunday. Extremely rare. But yeah, I gotta go in and get a few things. Anyway, y'all, I'll holler at y'all. Peace and blessings.